Let's look into the for loop. For loop will iterate a block of code the specified number of times. Using for loop, we'll try to write the values 1 to 5 in the first column of sheet 1. Let's get into the VB editor. We'll start writing the for loop now. So this is the syntax for loop. I is the counter that's being used. So I will take the values from 1 to 5. During the first iteration, I will take the value 1. When it executes the statement, here in sheet 1, cells of 1, 1, that is A1, cell A1 will have the value I, that is value 1. During the second iteration, I will take the value 2. So in sheet 1, cells of 2, 1, that is A2, the cell A2 will take the value 2. So similarly, 3, 4 and 5. So using this for loop, we are writing the value 1 to 5 in the first column of sheet 1. We'll run and see. Variable not defined, because as we have given option explicit, we have to define this variable as it is an integer. We'll declare it as an integer. Now we'll try to run the code. We are able to see the result here. 1 to 5 has been written in A1 to A5. Here actually the counter has been incremented by 1. Suppose if we want the counter to get incremented by 2, then we have to use the step keyword. Like this, you can give step 2. If we mention like this, then the counter will get incremented by 2. During the first iteration, it will have the value 1. So cells of 1, 1 will have the value 1. To actually have these values, let's change the column. Instead of column 1, we'll try to write the value in column 2 now and check how it writes the values. So in column 2, during the first iteration, the value 1 will be returned, and during the second iteration, I will have the value 3, because 1 plus 2. Step 2 is being given, so the counter I will get incremented by 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. So value 3 will be returned, and during the third iteration, I will have the value 5. So 5 will be returned during the third iteration in column 2. So let's run this and check how it writes the values. As you can see here, in column 2 we have returned the values. During the first iteration 1 has been written, and during the second iteration 3, and during the third iteration 5. So we have seen the for loop. Next we'll try to see for each loop. For each loop will actually iterate through the objects in the collection. This collection, it can be workbooks, worksheets, or the cells, or it can be charts, or shapes. All of these can be a collection. Suppose if you want to display the worksheet names in the current workbook, in such cases we can use for each loop. Now we'll try to write a for each loop. For each WS in worksheets. We'll try to actually just display this sheet name to the user. So we'll write message box WS name. Next, we need to declare these variables. WS variable, it will actually have the worksheet. Worksheet, it is an object, so we have to declare it as an object. WS as object. Worksheet name is actually a string. Name is actually WS dot name. Here name is the property of the worksheet. WS underscore name is the variable which will have the value of the worksheet name. So this is going to be a string. We'll declare it as a string. WS underscore name as string. Now we'll try to run this. Before that, here we can see 3 sheets are there, and the names of these sheets are sheet 1, sheet 2 and sheet 3. So these names has to get displayed in the message box when we run this code. Sheet 1, sheet 2 and sheet 3. So we have seen how the for each statement iterates through the worksheets and displays the worksheet name to the user. Next we'll see nested for loops. Nested for loops will have more than one for loop in it. So the counter will be more than 1. Here we have seen only one counter. I use the counter, only one counter is used. Here also only one counter. Suppose if you want to have nested for loops, then more than one counter will be there. We'll try to write a nested for loop. For C1 is equal to 3 to 8. C2 is equal to 3 to 8. 1 dot cells of C1 C2 dot value is equal to C1 plus C2. So this is a sample nested for loop. The first counter is actually C1 and the next counter is C2. During the first iteration, C1 will have the value 3 and C2 will have the value 3. So C1 comma C2 3 comma 3 in sheet 1 will have the value 6. During the second iteration, this will have C1 will have the value 3, C2 will have the value 4. So in sheet 1 3 comma 4, in the cell 3 comma 4 will have the value 7 because 3 plus 4 is 7. 3 to 8 it is 6. Similarly here also we'll have, so 6 into 6 is 36 iterations. Totally we'll have 36 iterations, which means we'll be writing 36 values in our sheet 1. We'll try to run this code and check how it writes the values. have to declare C1 and C2 as their integers. We'll declare them here. As you can see here, we have got the result for our nested for loop. We can consider this C2H as C1 and from 3 to this 8 as C2. So for each of this iteration, like say during the first iteration, 3 plus 3 is 6, then 3 plus 4 is 7, 3 plus 5 is 8, 3 plus 6 is 9, 3 plus 7 is 10, 3 plus 8 is 11. Then during the next iteration, this will take the value of 4, 4 plus 3 is 7, 4 plus 4 is 8, 4 plus 5 is 9. So like this, the rest of the values have also been written here. You can count the number of values here. You can see the count 36 values because number of iterations is 36. So we have seen for loop, for each and nested for loops. That's it.